Hai semuanya, kita bertemu lagi di video reaction saya kali ini guys, oke? Semoga semuanya sehat selalu. Nah, kali ini saya mau tengok video tentang ini ya. Pemimpin ASEAN yang lain ikuti pidato Presiden Jokowi, jawab tegas soal kemitraan ASEAN dan Uni Eropa. Jadi pidato Presiden Jokowi gitu ya, yang mana Presiden Jokowi mengatakan gitu ya, tidak ada yang boleh mendikte gitu. Dan pemimpin ASEAN yang lain pun seperti contohnya Perdana Menteri Hansen ini yang turut menegaskan gitu ya, seperti mana pidato Presiden Jokowi yang mengatakan langsung gitu ya di hadapan pemimpin Uni Eropa, jangan mendikte gitu, tidak boleh ada pemaksaan gitu. So jangan lama-lama lagi, mari sama-sama tengok video ini. Let's go.
At the opening speech, the speech of President of Dunia mentioned already, the partnership need to be equal. Cannot use the law from one side to apply on the other.
Partnership must be based on equality. There must be no imposition of views. There must not be one who dictates over the other.
The EU has announced this 10 billion euros of infrastructure investments. Now that is just a drop in the ocean really when you compare it to what the Asian Development Bank estimates is needed in terms of investment to keep up levels of growth in ASEAN. What would you have liked to see? Would you like to see more? Can you give us some insights into that? And to Presidents Michel and von der Leyen, we heard a lot about a potential block-to-block free trade agreement there. Now, I believe that's still pretty far off. What are the biggest barriers in your eyes? Is it Myanmar? Is it about climate policies from the ASEAN side? What do you think needs to happen to be able to get there? Thank you very much.
And maybe to launch negotiations in the following months or in the near future. And there is another dream we have. We have the dream to make possible, sooner or later, EU-ASEAN free trade agreement. But of course, to make it happen, it's also important that within the ASEAN, steps are made in terms of economic integration. It's not exactly the same situation.
Despite the marked differences between EU member states and ASEAN member states, that it is remarkable that we identify the same priorities as EU, together as ASEAN does, as the EU seems to also have the same priority.
The response from Charles Michel and Francis Marcos. Our point is that ASEAN not just to wait, not always waiting for the help from EU, but we need to see the complementarily the economy of the two regions. It's true that European countries are more advanced, but Europe and ASEAN is not just a place to receive only assistance from Europe. In this situation, that ASEAN and Europe agree together to have the free trade agreement together. We don't want our people to remain poor and then remain preferential treatment from EU. We would like to want free trade agreement between the two blocks. What you mentioned, whether there is any obstacle with the problem of Myanmar, we should not put politics to hinder the free trade agreement. At the opening speech, the speech of President of Dunia mentioned already, the partnership need to be equal. Cannot use the law from one side to apply on the other. We need that the two parties need to be equal to implement the quickest possible, not just to base on the situation of Myanmar and any country and then allow it to disturb our efforts with the establishment of the free trade agreement between the two blocs. In reality, for human rights, in relation to this and that issue, I would like also to add whether EU sign agreement with how many countries in ASEAN and about human rights over there. Not everything are the same, but we have common point. Target the goal to be connected between the two regions. The economy that is complement to each other. That's the point that remind ASEAN to try to stand up, to be partner with equal with EU. Thank you.
Yeah, indeed, you are right. Global Gateway is a much bigger program, 300 billion for investment worldwide. And there are different regions with different needs. The advantage with ASEAN is that we're meeting a highly developed economy. And therefore, the investment is not only the crucial point, but as this is public investment, for us it's important to have these infrastructure projects, and by infrastructure...
Oke guys, jadi tadi ya videonya ini. Jadi itu dia ya, pidato ataupun ucapan daripada Presiden Jokowi gitu tentang kemitraan Uni Eropa dan juga ASEAN gitu. Ini sekali lagi ditegaskan oleh PM Hansen ini, yaitu Perdana Menteri Kamboja, seperti mana yang sudah disampaikan oleh Presiden Jokowi bahwa kemitraan itu harus setara, partnership itu harus equal gitu ya. Harus adil dan tidak ada pemaksaan gitu. Jadi kerjasama antara Uni Eropa dan juga ASEAN itu harus setara gitu. Itu yang ditegaskan oleh Presiden Jokowi, dan kembali lagi diingatkan oleh PM Hansen ini ya, apa yang sudah disampaikan oleh Presiden Jokowi. Jadi bermula daripada Presiden Jokowi ini, pemimpin ASEAN yang lain pun bersuara juga gitu di hadapan pemimpin-pemimpin Uni Eropa gitu. Mantap. So, terima kasih banyak sebab kamu sudah menonton video ini. Jangan lupa macam biasa untuk support channel saya dengan subscribe, like video ini, dan jangan lupa untuk komen juga, oke? Terima kasih banyak dan kita jumpa lagi di video seterusnya. Assalamualaikum.